Happy week, Astro lovers. It is the week of May 9th through the 15th, 2022. And this is one of those weeks where you're going to want to buckle up, baby. There is a lot of energy in the sky this week. There's a lot of adjustments. There's a lot of separations. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of arguments. It's in the air. And you know, here on Drunk Astrology, we do not sugarcoat anything. So I'm just gearing you up. We are in the height of eclipses. We have Mercury stationing retrograde this week. We have Jupiter entering Aries on the same day. We've got the Scorpio Lunar Eclipse. We have Sun square Saturn this week. We have a lot going on. So I just want you to be prepared. And that is what we're going to do tonight. Today. I'm recording it Sunday evening, but you will hear this Monday morning, if not later. But that's what we're going to do on this episode. And every episode, we're going to prepare you for the week ahead. And I'm just giving it to you right up front. So if you don't have time to listen to anything but that this week, you at least know that that's in the air. It's just a lot, okay? As I was preparing, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know about this week. This seems like a no. But I will say, let's get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty. The moon makes a lot of adjusting aspects this week, like a lot. Like we're not gonna be so happy with that. But there is only one moon that. Okay, I'm going to use my words. My ruling planet, forgive me, is in orb of its retrograde station. That's Mercury, because I'm a Virgo. So my words might be a little, I'm going to fight to find my words and not overspeak or underspeak or speak in a way that is not clear and effective for you, my favorite listener. There is only one sign that the moon is in this week that it does not have a pleasant closing aspect. Okay, so that means that's just 2.5 days of like stress, and where it's just like, okay, something needs to be released here, something needs to be said, a line needs to be drawn, and that's our Libra moon this week. So we'll get to that when we start talking about the moon phases. But the other moons, they're busy and they're adjusting and they're separative and they're argumentative and with little glimmers of hope. Some glimmer of optimism, some glimmer of like, positive forward motion. But there's just a lot. Like things are moving. There's no doubt about it that this week things are moving and things are coming to light. Things are being dug up from, past issues that, might not have been resolved, or past conversations that weren't had come up because the Scorpio Lunar Eclipse is digging up things. Oh, you getting the idea? But all that being said, the moons, most of them, except for the Libra moon this week, are making positive closing aspects. So that means that the frustrations, the arguments, the separations, the stresses, the anxieties, the triggers, and the things that come up, they have positive end results. So it's worth it. It is worth it in the end. So by and large, in general this week, the stress and whatever you go through, that it is worth it. Now, under that Libra moon, it is a stressful closing aspect. So it's stressful daily moons with that Libra moon, and then the closing aspect is one of a separation and an argument. So that does mean that something within your relationship dynamics, what comes up under that Libra moon, Thursday and Friday, early Saturday morning, there's something there within whatever relationship dynamics are coming up for you, something that needs to get resolved. There is action necessary in order to get on the other side of the predicament, the situation, the argument, whatever comes up. Now, some of you might be innocent bystanders, and this is more so happening around you, and not within you or not to you. So you carry that with you too. And remember too that we all have free will. So everything I say to you and deliver to you each and every week is not, some doomsday report, right? That does not have to be how things play out for you. These are general readings based on what the sky is doing, not how it interacts with your chart. This is just a comprehensive look at the energy in the sky. So I don't want anyone to get confused. I don't want anyone to feel like Graham said that Thursday and Friday are just going to be the worst. It's like, yeah, they might be for some. And we're in eclipses already, which is just unpredictable. A Mercury retrograde is always signals scrambling. Messages get, the communication goes left and right and up and down. And we're trying to figure out, what's what and who's who, what we're trying to say because it's in Gemini and then backing into Taurus later on. So this is a lot. And then Jupiter leaving Pisces, where it's just the emotional journey and the creative exploration and the like, oh, am I high tide, low tide, how am I feeling, like, it's getting like, risky creative things or whatever. Well, now Jupiter, our spiritual, our risk taker, our expander, our optimizer, he leaves the deep blue sea and he jumps into red hot Aries until October, to the very end of October. Okay, so we've got Jupiter in Aries, who is just going to say risk taking now looks like bold, courageous moves. It's black or white. It's left or right. There is no gray zone. This is what it is. And I'm moving forward unapologetically. I am breaking glass ceilings unapologetically. I am moving through my own barriers, and I don't really care who's in my way. So Jupiter, he moves into Aries the same day that Mercury stations retrograde. So we're getting this thrust of energy, and we're adjusting to it, and the moon says so. We're adjusting, we're ducking, we're dodging, we are maneuvering, we're compromising, we're negotiating, we're presenting. There's a lot of things that we're doing this week, but then Mercury goes, but hold on, let's think about this before we press go. Let's not sign this deal until we have more clarity. Let me get another set of eyes on this, and before I move forward. There can be a lot of ambiguity in whatever comes up for you. There can be a lot. It can just be a time where things just aren't all the way clear, and you're having to figure out what it means, or what's at play, what's at stake. And all of that is in deliberation this week. This is not a week to solidify something. Okay, this is like, and if you are going to be in a position where you're having to solidify something this week, know that the nature of the deal will change. Any contract signed, especially this week, will be reevaluated at some point. There is something about that agreement that will shift and will change on June 3rd or after, when Mercury stations to go direct again. So just keep all of this in mind, so that if you're being presented with something that has the vision or has the appearance of permanence, and that idea is worrisome to you, or it stresses you out a little bit, or there's something about that idea of permanence that is making you uncomfortable, rest in knowing that this isn't a time for permanence. So and Mercury retrograde is the biggest indicator of that. Eclipses are also an indicator of that, because they're really just throwing everything in the sky and seeing what sticks and seeing what lands, and seeing how you need to be course corrected, because that's what eclipses are really doing. So if you experience any kind of hardship, if you experience some kind of unresolved issue coming back up from the grave, it can feel like, because Scorpio buries, and then eclipses come around, and then they unearth. So the last time that we had Scorpio eclipses, I believe did I read this right? I think it was back in 2014. Might have been like October of 2014. So if you can shoot back to then and go, okay, what was going on back then for me, and how is what might be coming up now. The eclipse isn't until Sunday, but we're in eclipse season, and it's just an anything goes time for the next like 3 weeks. So it doesn't have to be Sunday. It's really late Sunday night here on the West Coast and early Monday morning on the East Coast, and then you adjust for your time zones. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be on Sunday or after Sunday. We're just in the time. So don't marry a time to anything. But if you do have anything going on, if anything is up for you and it is seeming like it is appearing, it's presenting itself as something that would be permanent, rest assured that something about whatever is going on for you has a temporary effect on it. It's kind of like this, like, what is it? Like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm signing, but I'm being pressured to sign it now. But it's like, okay, be okay in the fact, like, okay, well, at least I know that the nature of this agreement is going to shift. There's something about this that is more temporary than it is permanent. Okay, so let's just get into the moons, because we have quite a lot of aspects to discuss with the moons, and I want you to just be ready. So right now, Monday, May 9th, by the time you hear this, well, actually, no, this podcast will be out by then, so I'll go ahead and do it. The moon is in Leo. It goes void at 5:39 a.m. Pacific. Again, all the times I give you are Pacific Standard, so make sure you adjust for your time zones. Leo moon goes void Monday morning at 5:39 a.m. with an opposition to Saturn. So that is, letting something out to an authority figure. That is a separation. That is a clarifying aspect. Leo wants what it wants. Saturn in Aquarius says, yes, but there is structure to this. And how do we find the middle ground? So there's something could have came up over the weekend under this Leo moon where, there can be like a slam dunk energy to this type of aspect. So if you feel like you got slam dunked over the weekend or even like early Monday morning, that's just that Leo moon. The Leo part says, well, this is what I want and this is what I'm worth, or this is what feels right to me. And Saturn in Aquarius, says yes or no, and the opposition to Saturn's more of a no. And, then you gotta, see like, okay, well, I want this, they want that. How do we find the middle ground? Then oh goodness, it's just, so I think longtime listeners, you all know that quincunxes are those adjusting, annoying, frustrating aspects that come up. So all Monday morning, the Leo moon makes these quincunxes to Neptune, to Pluto, and to Jupiter, all before it even changes into Virgo. So we've got adjustments at 5:50 a.m., at 1:09 p.m., 3:30 p.m., and then the moon enters Virgo at 3:53 p.m. So that just makes for a creative but a little bit of a sleepy moon all the way until 3:53 p.m. Then we are in hightail Virgo mode, and now we're like getting things done. But now we move to Tuesday, May 10th. That Virgo moon has a square to Mercury, a quincunx to Venus, a quincunx to Chiron, and then at 8:27 p.m. a nice trine to Uranus. So some kind of innovative idea, some kind of fresh perspective that moves us forward. But all day, the square to Mercury is at 1:10 in the morning, and then the two quincunxes 9:19 a.m. and 7:20 p.m. Those are just those annoying, frustrating, just digs, where you're like, come on, like, I don't want to do this. Like, no. And if it's a no, how do you shift into a yes? It's the Virgo just wants to do and be of service, but the quincunxes are like, And within relationships and within money dynamics, like, okay, work and money, work and relationships, how are these two needing to adjust to each other on Tuesday? Then on Wednesday, May 11th, the Virgo moon has an opposition to Mars, so that is separative. That's at 5:17 a.m. A nice trine to the sun at 7 a.m., so that's beautiful. And then it has a quincunx to Saturn and an opposition to Neptune. Those are both adjusting and separative and clarifying. Virgo moon opposite Neptune and Pisces, what's real, what's fantasy? So, What's the tangible? Because that's the Virgo Earth energy, and then Neptune and Pisces. What's unclear? What needs to be like just what needs to be like cold cut? Oh no, black and white. This is it because I can measure it, and that is not relevant because it is too ethereal, too wishy washy. That Virgo moon is going to be looking to clarify anything that's a little too foggy. Then at 9 p.m., the Virgo moon goes void with a trine to Pluto. So even though that Virgo moon is making a lot of adjustment, a lot of adjusting energy, all the adjustments made have a positive end result, and so that means that it's worth it. So keep that in mind as you duck and dodge Monday afternoon, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all the way until 9 p.m. Then at 11:34 p.m., the moon enters Libra on Wednesday. Then Thursday, okay, this is when we get into the trickies. Okay, so the Libra moon has an opposition to Jupiter, so that's something coming out within a relationship. Just keep in mind that's going on. There's a trine to Mercury at 7:54 a.m., so that's a positive communication. That's easygoing. That's nice enough. But then there's an opposition to Venus at 8:49 p.m. So that's the only aspects that are happening on Thursday. So that's a nice part. But the opposition to Jupiter and the opposition to Venus that's a little dicey, a little dodgy. So just watch your work relationships and watch your romantic relationships. Just watch your relationships because Thursday they can be a little dicey, and on Friday the 13th, hey Freddy Krueger, you might actually be roaming the streets because there's an opposition to Chiron, a quincunx to Uranus, a quincunx to Mars, a quincunx to the Sun. Do you hear all these adjustments and frustrating aspects? There is a trine to Saturn at 6:54 p.m. That's nice, that's productive, that's laying some groundwork. But then there's a quincunx to Neptune a few minutes after that. So that's adjusting to something that's still unclear. So we're trying to, within our relationships and our partnerships on Thursday, Friday, to get clarity on what's going on, but it could just be a little too much. It can just make you feel like this is too much. Like I'm trying to lay some groundwork. I'm trying to make this work. I'm trying to make this make sense in some way, shape, or form. Whatever your story is, you'll see. Maybe you get to be an innocent bystander, but this is taking place somewhere in your chart, so just keep that in mind. And so the best thing to do under these aspects, definitely Thursday, Friday, but all this week, the best thing that you can do is say to yourself when things are going on in your life and around you that how can I be more flexible? And sometimes that's just with yourself. That doesn't mean you be flexible towards someone that's, abusing your worth or underestimating your value or, someone that, is a negative influence in some way, shape, or form. That doesn't mean that you are flexible in those, but how do you be more flexible within yourself, within your own mind? And the flexibility can be like, I will participate in this argument or this discussion for this amount of time, but after this, or if it goes this direction, I'm no longer being a part of this. You can take me out. So I want you to keep that in mind this week with this many quincunxes, squares, and oppositions. This is stress. This is frustration, and it's a call to adjust. But sometimes, we over-adjust. We over-compromise to where our needs and our value and our sense of worth is being trampled on. And this is one of those weeks where you want to say, okay, I'll do my part to try and make this work. But if we do reach a certain limit, then that's a boundary for myself, and you can count me out. So just when I say remain flexible this week, it doesn't mean that you go, okay, I know what the energy is this week, so I'll just, make it work for everyone else, but not necessarily myself. No, that means the flexibility is within yourself, and you get to draw the line where, and this is at all times, but I'm just putting this in your ear this week because there is so much taking place. But you get to draw your own line, and you get to make that clear this week, right? So if you enter any kind of dynamic, if you enter any kind of discussion that it feels like it's going a certain way, right up front at the starting gate, go, okay, I feel like this is about to get heated, or I feel like this is about to go somewhere that maybe it needs to go, because maybe Scorpio eclipse is bringing up things that need to be resolved. And so with that, going, okay, I feel like this needs to come out, but I'm just going to lay the groundwork now that if we go past a certain point, if we raise our voices, if we start attacking each other's integrity in any way, shape, or form like that, then I'm going to have to bow out of this conversation, or we're going to have to come back to this another time, because that's not my vibe. High vibe and good vibe only, huh? Okay, just keeping that in your head. Then Saturday the 14th, the Libra moon goes void at 1:07 a.m. with a square to Pluto. So that is, that's like power plays, power dynamics, power structures. That Libra moon is, and Pluto is Scorpio's ruling planet. So, that's heavy stuff. Okay, so not just letting you know, this is heavy stuff, and whatever comes up needs to come up. You need to see it, and maybe just try and prepare ahead of time for whatever you think however this might be applicable to your life and what may come up for you. I already have an idea in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this could be something. Okay, good to know. So that's just something that you're going to keep in mind. And if you can prepare, because Mercury, the Mercury retrograde station in the middle of all this is really the monkey wrench. Jupiter in Aries is like, oh wow, okay, you're going to maximize, like, Aries, they act first and think never. That's my cosmic joke to the Aries and Aries energy out there. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it. And then, who needs repercussions, or, screw the consequences. So, Mercury retrograde is like, wait a minute, hold on. Let's think about this. Let's consider what we're about to say. So, keep giving you that to chew on. Then, the moon on Saturday the 14th enters Scorpio at 3:34 a.m. It has two adjusting aspects. It's got a quincunx to Jupiter. It's got a quincunx to Mercury. I'm so sorry that I'm delivering all these. This is a lot. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you now. On Sunday the 15th, this is a very, very busy day in the cosmos, folks. The Scorpio moon has a quincunx to Venus, a quincunx to Chiron, an opposition to Uranus, a nice trine to Mars, so forward motion, a square to Saturn, and a trine to Neptune. So there's a little, that Uranus, the trine to Mars and the trine to Neptune, it's all that water. So going with the flow, but just, it's a reminder to go with the flow in the middle of all of those separations and frustrations. I really hope that I hear from some of you saying, it was actually like an okay day. It was actually an okay experience. I had, a family member or a friend that, I helped guide through. But I really hope that, you're an innocent bystander, a bystander. My fingers are crossed. But also we have the Scorpio Lunar Eclipse on Sunday at 9:14 p.m. That's at 25 degrees, 18 minutes of Scorpio. So you're going to find that part of your chart. Find 25 degrees Scorpio. That's where that Scorpio Lunar Eclipse is taking place. Remember, in this eclipse season, we have part 1. That was November, December of 2021. And now we're in the chapter 2 zone. So just consider how you've evolved, how the story's evolved, and what's coming up for you that is related to that chapter 1, and how do you want to move through it, and how do you want to move beyond it. Keep that in mind. And then the Scorpio moon goes void on Monday, May 16th at 2:28 a.m. with a sextile to Pluto. So even with all of the adjustments and the unearthings and the unraveling potentially under that Scorpio moon, and even the Libra moon with that square to Pluto, it's positive. It's worth it. It is all in the end going to work out. So just keep that in mind, no matter how busy you get, no matter how frustrated you get, that in the end, it is going to work out, and there is a positive end result. Now, planetary wise, we've discussed it, but just to give you times, Mercury stations retrograde Tuesday, May 10th at 4:47 a.m. in the sign of Gemini. Now, Mercury is going to be retrograde all the way till June 3rd, in which it'll station, and then it'll have about a 2-week period of its post-retrograde shadow, and then it'll be moving on into new territory. This is the second retrograde for 2022. We have a grand total of 4. Read 'em and weep 'em. The first of which was in January to February. Now we're in for number 2, and number 2 is a split between Gemini and Taurus energy. So the words we speak and how words and other people's words and the way we think to ourselves and the things we say to ourselves, how they affect our worth, our stability, our sense of security, self-worth, self-confidence, self-esteem. So we're reevaluating. So you might be presented with situations or people from your past coming back that are gauging this and evaluating you. I put something on Instagram last week that said, I don't believe that the universe ever tests us. I never liked that idea that this is a test from the universe, but it's an evaluation. And that's my take on things. That when difficult things are taking place, that you're not being tested, but you are being evaluated. And this retrograde says, okay, do you still want to talk to yourself like this? Do you still want to question your worth? Do you still want these relationships or these dynamics around that make you think that you're less than, or that make you feel like you're less than? Not that, some people that have the negative intentions, but other people, it's a trigger that they're unaware of for you. And that what it does to you is it starts making you, doubt yourself. And so Mercury retrograde is a nice reevaluation. Remember, this is all our RE words. You're going to review. You're going to, if old ideas come back and you want to pursue those, that's a great positive use. If you want to reconnect with somebody from your past that you've been disconnected from, that's a positive use of Mercury retrograde. And just keep in mind that if some ex or some whatever, if someone from your past comes back that you're like, it's just a question. It's an evaluation. Do you want to try to renegotiate the terms of this relationship or this dynamic? Or are you happy with where things are and you're ready to just keep moving on? This is a nice little period of evaluation, so keep that in mind. On the same day, Tuesday, May 10th, Jupiter enters Aries at 4:22 p.m., where he will be all the way until, I believe it's October 28th. And that's a good patch of time there. Now, that Jupiter in Aries is going to give us a nice preview of 2023, because he will be in Aries for most of 2023. He will have a little bout in Taurus, but you're getting a nice preview. So Jupiter did the same thing last year, where he dipped out of Aquarius and went into Pisces for a few months, gave you a preview of where you're at now, where you've been at since he's been in Pisces since end of December. And now he's like, okay, I'm ready to jump out of the ocean. I'm ready to go into the driver's seat and vroom vroom, baby. I'm out of here. I'm pressing go. Okay? So you're gonna press go, but you wanna just kind of be cognizant of the things that you are pressing go on, because there is this lack of permanence in the sky right now. So just keep that in mind. Now, 2 days that I do want to make a nice little gold star next to are Friday and Saturday, because the nodes will be direct those 2 days only. Now, remember, last week, Sunday to Sunday, the node was direct. So I was telling you last week, go get out, shake hands, send proposals, and I hope you did. And I hope if you had any positive experiences, or if you had negative, if you want to share those with me too, please let me know. So I will let you know that I've been sending my career as a professional dancer and movement coach, actor, all things entertainment, the things that I do in that world. I'm also going into professional dancer health and wellness on and off camera. And with that, I am connecting with the brands that I love and use myself, food brands, skincare companies, and whatever. And I've been making partnerships, and I've been reaching out and sending all kinds of messages, and I've been making deals and partnerships. So I've been lucky enough to be now, I'm working with the skincare brand Youths to the People that I absolutely love. And, I have a great discount code to offer people, specifically dancers, that are, trying to get their skincare regimens together so they look great on camera. And they feel good about themselves off camera, It's a confidence thing. And that's one of the things I'm pushing as now moving into this new direction. And so I was just stoked that I was like, oh, wow, here it is, astrology in motion. The nodes were direct, and I said, okay, I'm going to get this template. I'm going to send it out, and, this should be a positive end result. And then, boom, it was. And then I have another brand, Stellar Eats, because I'm gluten-free, I'm lactose-free, I'm soy-free. There's even some oils now that I don't even mess with when it comes to my food. And they signed on board just like that. They were like, yep, we're going to send you products. We'd love to have you, review it and, suggest it to your audience, to dancers, and to whoever else might be interested. So I've been trying, their foods, and I have honest reviews. So it's just all... It's all just in alignment. Things are working. So I hope you took advantage. That doesn't mean that the nodes have to be direct for things to go your way. That does not mean that at all. But I'm just saying it gives you that nice little boost to get what you want. And I guess I'll open it up to anyone who listens. If you have any interest or you already use Youths to the People and you want a discount on your stuff, let me know and I can send you the code. But that's how I've been using, been putting astrology in motion. Astrologergram and real life gram, or normal gram, as I joked on Instagram last week. They're in alignment right now, and they're really working, as nice co-pilots. And it's been working out great. The payoff has been great. So I'm hoping to give some of that to you and that you take that with you. Only other aspects that are of note: on Sunday we have not only the Scorpio Lunar Eclipse, but we have Venus Chiron conjunction. So just, it's wounding, but it's relationships and wounds working cohesively together and making a new deal together, right? So you just kind of want to love, you kind of nuzzle up to, the things that make you a little softy and the things that make you a little triggered, kind of things that make you upset. Venus comes and kind of nuzzles up, and encouraging you to nuzzle up. There's a Sun square Saturn at 11:49 a.m. on Sunday as well. This isn't a nice aspect, honestly. Saturn, the Astro Dad downer. The Sun in Taurus is trying to do things its way. Saturn in Aquarius is trying to do things in a new way. And one or the other gets slam dunked. This is, again, a stress that requires action to get on the other side of. But then at 12:15 p.m., the Sun and Neptune have a nice sextile together, right? So again, you hear all these layers of aspects that are going on all at the same time this week. That is why it's what makes this such a busy week. So I hope that you remain flexible within yourself. I want you to just ingrain that into your brain this week. How can I remain flexible within myself? And how can I state my boundaries up front? How can I lay the groundwork for how I will participate in my relationships as I move forward? Not just this week, but as you move forward in general. I hope that you have an amazing week. I hope that you stay in touch with me, and you'll hear in the outro how you can. And I'll see you on Instagram. I will see you on all the social medias, and of course the newsletter, and all of you that are on the list. If you're not on the list, head to either the show notes or the description, click the link, and get your name on the newsletter so that you're up on all the Drunk Astro things. I will see you soon. Have a great week. Mwah.